all those rainy days were worth it. In the future, like 40 years from now, the person I am will look back and think like, man, why didn't I try to do that? Why didn't I do all these things? Wouldn't it be better to believe that you succeed? Wouldn't it be better to live in delusion, I guess? Try to find that little tiny thing that makes you want to keep going. Very, very slowly and slightly, my mindset shifted a little bit. You're a human being and there's gonna be times where you feel tired and you feel drained. The disasters do not last forever. There is going to be a point in time.
She's snowy.
I've just been thinking about how I feel like I'm existing, but I'm not really like living my life. It's been hard because I just feel like there's points in my life where it's like upsetting. Obviously, like there's going to be downs and lows and ups and highs in your life. When you're at a normal state of mind, right, it seems very simple. But once you're in this situation, then it gets very hard to think positive. What I've learned now is that with every rainy day, it always comes a sunny day. No matter how long these rainy day or even days go by, there's always going to be another sunny day that will either make you feel like all those rainy days were worth it. Or maybe it's just not even a sunny day. Maybe it's a cloudy day where it's kind of okay, but I'm just like, okay, you know what? This still sucks. I still feel like everything is gonna rain on top of me and it's just not feeling it this way. There really is no way to stop these rainy days because there are always going to be rainy days. There are always going to be sunny days. There are always going to be days where just like bleh, it's like a freaking cloudy day. And honestly, I hate those days the most. Just don't know if it's just gonna rain on you or if it's a sunny day. And to me, I relate it a lot to just not feeling like anything. When I was little, I feel like I would always think about how I would want my future to just be the best thing ever, and I would always have these perfect, picture perfect futures in my brain, but I would never think about the sadness of it. And that comes when you grow up. You're always going to feel more grief, but at the same time you can also relate to this as more happiness. And you know what, even if I can tell you why you should be happy or why you should try to strive for happiness, but at the end of the day, I can't tell you why these rainy days happen or why do we have to suffer so we have like a happy day. Why can't we just all be happy? But honestly, like none of us know, because at the end of the day, really no one gets what they're doing until they start doing it. So sometimes there are times where I just like pull out a camera and just start talking, and you know what, it works out. And sometimes it doesn't work out, you know, sometimes there are videos that flops and I'm like, damn, that really sucks. But at the same time, it's just those low points are what makes the high points feel like something. I started thinking that I'm gonna live through these rainy days. And you know what, I know it sucks, because imagine you're like in the middle of nowhere and it's just raining on you, and you look left, you look right, you look behind you, you look up, you look in front of you, you look down, there's nothing you can do. It feels like the entirety of your life has been taken out of your hands and out of your control. And you know what, sometimes it feels like that, but the only way that you will be able to actually do something about it is to push forward, because it's difficult to really put yourself up when all of this is just raining on top of you and all of this stuff is just like pushing you down. But they're not gonna push you down forever. And at some point, you take your chance to put up your boundaries, to build a house, basically. Because even if you build this house with the bare materials, which is basically like nothing, no one knows how to build a house like immediately, okay? No matter what you do, you are not going to know how to do that immediately. Like, there are people that are talented at what they do, but it still takes practice, it still takes time, and you know what, that's okay. But at the same time, once those days go on, I'm using this house as a metaphor for like anything that you do, for anything that new you start, you're gonna learn how to put the pieces together and learn that, you know what, maybe a screwdriver is not gonna work putting a nail inside of wood, right? Everything seems easier once you know how to do it. Just think about riding a bike. When you first learn to ride your bike, you don't really know how to do it. You're just practicing. But then in just this one moment, it just clicks for you. And it makes sense. It feels like, oh, why haven't I been doing this the entire time? Why haven't I just been like doing this? Because it's so simple now. But you wouldn't have thought that in the beginning because you didn't know how to do it. You're only able to reap the benefits of what you sow after you reap those benefits. Like after those, like the soil and the plants grow. And a lot of the times we don't realize that we push ourselves a lot more than we should. And of course it's good to push yourself to, you know, achieving your dreams. But there's a point where you just have to rest. You're not a machine. that works 24/7. You're not an Amazon delivery place where you just deliver things by 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. No, you're a human being, and there's gonna be times where you feel tired and you feel drained, and you have to be able to have, yes, a consistent work schedule, but you also have to have a consistent rest schedule, because you cannot work if you do not rest. Just think about how you sleep. Maybe 8 hours a day. You should be sleeping at least 8 hours, or like somewhere around where you feel energized and you don't feel tired throughout the day. But going back to my point of needing that rest, because you know what? Let's just get it straight. It's hard. Life is hard. It's simple how it may seem simple, because a lot of people have lived life before. You can do it too, right? But there are times that feel like all of this is out of your control, and it feels like the world is ending, and it feels like you rather not like live right now, and you rather like just stay in your bed and never wake up again. I get it. But at the same time, I've learned to think that I just fear the fact that I may not be living the life that I want to. I fear that in the future, like 40 years from now, the person I am will look back and think like, man, why didn't I try to do that? Why didn't I do all these things? But another thing is just like, just try new things, you know? I used to be a really picky eater, and I would not eat anything if it was not McDonald's and french fries. It was so bad. But I wasn't able to experience what real food was until I took a bite of real food for the very first time. And I was shocked, because I was like, man, I didn't know this was like that good. And of course, you know, I was trying this food, and then I tried another food. I was like, oh, this is kind of good too. And then I come to this next one, and it sucks. And I'm like, no, ew, I'm not touching that. And that's the great thing about having new experiences and just experiencing new things in general, is that a lot of the times there are going to be things that you absolutely hate, but there are also going to be things that you love. And I think it's worth the trial and error to like, you know, go out there and try new things. Because if my like 5-year-old, 4-year-old self didn't try real food, I would still be eating McDonald's every single day, and that's really unhealthy. Please do not do that. Going past that, I just feel like a lot of the things that we want to do are often always stopped by the thought of, oh, what will somebody else think? What will so-and-so think? Like if you're in school, like what will the bullies of me think? Like, oh, this person's gonna make fun of me. And honestly, I get what you mean, because I've been in that situation before where I just didn't want to do anything. I used to, like, in my middle school era, I used to walk into school and think like, man, I literally hate this school so much. I don't want to be here. I don't like the people here. The people don't like me, and I would always genuinely feel my world was ending. But I still was able to get past that. Still here. I'm not in middle school anymore. I'm still surviving. And you know what? Maybe the mean girls were talking crap about me, but guess what? Maybe y'all should get a job and actually do something. Work at Rita's or something, you know? Like, I don't know. But the point is, like, as I said before, these rainy days, these sad days, these terrible, even hurricane days, do not last forever. The disasters do not last forever. There is going to be a point in time where you're able to just pick up the pieces of the building that you built and retry to build that house again. And you might be thinking, like right now, like, Snowy, why the hell would I pick up all of these pieces on the ground if it's just going to break again? If it's just one day, this one rainy day is just gonna destroy all my hard work? I don't know. Why should you? Why should you? Like, honestly, why should you? Because, you know, there's so many people say, like, there's so many meanings to life of, oh, well, you should do it because when you die, you gotta go to heaven and stuff like that. Like, when you're in a situation that you've lost everything, nobody is able to tell you why you should keep going, because at that moment in time, you feel like you've lost everything. It didn't matter. Everything towers down and you're just like, oh my god, what do I do? Well, I need to like build my house back. I need to pick up my beds. I need to pick up the pieces of my life. Well, what do I do next? Like, feel so overwhelmed, and there's like a point where you just feel like you're crashing down, and this is how panic attacks happen, where everything just comes crashing down and you're just like, man, what do I do next? Why is nothing working out? And you're gonna feel like that, and there's honestly really nothing anyone can do except just to comfort you. And you know what, at that time, those people comforting you, you might be thinking like, these people don't even understand what I'm feeling right now. And yeah, they probably don't, but they may have. You don't know everybody's story in this world. There's like 8 billion people out there. When you walk out the I was about to say window. You walk out the door, there are 8 billion people that you yet to meet, and you will not meet all of these people. That's the crazy part. There are always going to be a person that you will not be able to meet. But there are so many people that have had better lives than you, worse lives than you. Like, that's the thing. There's always going to be a person that has a better or worse life than you. And honestly, there's really no need to compare yourself to another person, because only person who you should be comparing yourself to is you in the past, because that is something that is tangible. That is something that you should compare yourself to, because you want to know that you've improved or where you could improve after. And there's always an after part. The next chapter, the next flip of the page, where the main character goes all haywire because they're getting so destroyed and everything feels like they're crashing down, but there's always this part where they succeed again. And even if you don't believe that you'll succeed, wouldn't it be better to believe that you succeed? You'll never be able to reach it if you don't believe that you'll be able to reach it. So why don't you just believe that you'll reach it, and if you fail, you fail, and if you don't, you don't, you know? Because why live with this negative mindset? Instead, just go and keep going just to go, because what are the chances that you'll make it? You won't know what are the chances that you'll make it until you actually make it. And you're gonna have a lot of trials where you fail and just feel like there's nothing to it. You're always gonna do something that you don't like, whether it's a part-time job or you learn something or a class that you don't like. In a way, find something that you do like about it, because then it always gets better. If you like something, even this tiny bit, something, you know, like even like math, okay? Let's think about math. Even if you hate math completely, you took that AP calculus and you could not do it and you were just like, man, screw this, all of this. Try to find that little tiny thing that makes you want to keep going. And for me, it was the fact that my handwriting was really good and I loved making notes. I loved making notes. I just really liked handwriting. And while that tiny thing wasn't very big compared to the entirety of my math curriculum, it was still something that I enjoyed. And slowly, very slowly and slightly, my mindset shifted a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Those notes that I wrote then turned out to help me on those tests. And then those tests helped my grade. The tests that I did well on helped motivate me. And it's just like this domino effect. Have you ever heard of the butterfly effect? Because honestly, I used to be obsessed with it. And honestly, I still am obsessed with it. Because the fact that this slight little change in your life could put such a big change in your life, what are the chances? You don't know the chances. So might as well just do it. Might as well just go out there. So yeah.